we're having all this joy, right? And all this laughter. And then there's some sadness. Eh? And isn't that the truth of who we are? We're both, right? So my sadness is that Debbie Clark made her transition on Friday. And plans will be forwarded, probably not till late April or May, but they will be here. Even though her family is up in the Akron, Ohio area, Debbie wanted it here, and she also wants to be interned in Spring Grove Cemetery. So she went peacefully, and she had a long struggle, but so did her children. Dealing with a mother with dementia has not been easy for them. So please hold. Dan and Shelby are her children, their family, themselves and their families, and Debbie's grandchildren in your prayers. And I'll keep you posted. If you're not receiving the email newsletter on Thursdays, these are reasons why you want to be on there, because you can scroll fast through whatever you don't want, but important things like her service will be on that email blast. So I don't want you missing things or coming in here and saying, why didn't anybody tell me? So I titled this talk, It's Time to Get Up. Yeah, I tell you, every time I name a title, look out, Kathy, because you're going to experience your own story with this. With Debbie's passing now, making her transition, this takes our total up to 15 congregants since April that have made their transition. That's insane. It's insane. It really is. You know, and these are just not congregants. You know, friends, so many of them were my friends of over 25 and 30 years. I've been attending here for 34 years. And my heart has been really heavy because most of them, if not all of them, were close to my heart. All of them were close to my heart. All of you are close to my heart. And I can't change that. That's who I am, and I'll never change that. But it's loss of friendship, loss of closeness. All these people have given to the church in their time and their talents and their treasures. They've also loved me through all my faults. And it's all has taken a toll on me. So I know what to do. And that was call my minister coach, Martha Creek, which I did. And we literally not only had a session on Friday, we had a session on Saturday, or no, I think we had a session on Thursday, and then we had a session on Friday after Debbie made her transition, and we got another one scheduled this week. I told Martha, I said, I feel like I'm having a breakdown. And at the same time, I know that if I'm heading to a breakdown, I'm also moving towards a breakthrough. And I know that. So I'm really ready with her to look more deeply for myself. And then came along last night Sandy's information to her adult Sunday morning class. And I can't say this enough. If you want a deeper dive into unity, that adult class is what she can do. Because these are people that are willing to really look more deeply within themselves. And she picks articles that are so appropriate. And I am quoting this paragraph out of what she was talking about today in her class. Says your outward search for God culminates in the greatest of all possible discoverers. It ends up culminating in the finding of spirit at the center of your own being. Life flows up from within you. That's biggie. Life flows up from within you. Doesn't come from out there. Ernest Holm, one of our spiritual sages throughout time, has taught us that the divine spark dwells in the very essence of your being. The Sufi poet Hafiz wrote, "I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness." This is saying to me, and think about the times that you are or have been in your own darkness. "I wish I could show you when you are lonely or in darkness the astonishing light of your own being." Gigi, you referred to that at the end of your meditation with Barb, your wife. Yeah. Boy, oh boy. And then Rumi. Many are familiar with Rumi, the mystic poet, right? He said, "We carry inside us the wonders that we seek outside of us." We carry the wonders inside of us that we seek outside of us. And Jesus, of course, proclaimed, "The kingdom of God is within you." His master teachers and wayshowers are all saying the same message. But when you're in that darkness, it's not so easy to find this. I could read this a week ago and said, yeah, all right, I know. It doesn't take away all this sadness, right? Ernest Holmes wholeheartedly agreed that affirming that the Spirit fills us with its presence and wells up in our lives from within, knowing that divinity resides in our innermost center. And it is a wonderful discovery because that awareness presents us with profound responsibility. Thus, why unity is not for everyone. Because you've got to be willing to sit here and listen and be willing to be responsible for your own happiness. Yes. Should we say that again? This is core to our teachings. Only Kathy is responsible for her sadness and her grief, and not to make it wrong. I kept wanting somebody to fix this. Michael, can't you fix my feelings? Why do you look so sad? That's what he'd say. I couldn't explain it, and I didn't want to explain it, because I know if I'm going to have my own breakthrough through this breakdown, I need quiet time. I need time for me to process. Am I making sense? Because I'm seeing an awful lot of heads going that you have done this within your own self. We do so by diving, this is from her class, we do so by diving deep into our interior terrain, examining our thoughts, our beliefs, and our visions for our life and for our world. Martha suggested to me, she said, I want you to ask your grief, what do you need? Grief, what do you need? Not Kathy. Grief, what do you need? Immediately, one word came to me. I wrote it all in capitals. Time. Underlined. Went back and read it again. Underlined it some more. Highlighted the letters again. That's how much my grief was screaming to me. I need time to process. And you want to know how sad this is with Kathy? Is that I said to Martha, I said, this is wonderful. But as soon as I get off of this phone call with you, it's agenda after agenda after agenda after agenda. Answer that email. Do that. And she just said, keep asking your grief what you need. Now, isn't it so comical that we are moving towards the resurrection? That we are moving from the story of Lazarus in the tomb. Anybody remember that story in the Bible? Right? Jesus' good friend has died. Okay, and we're also moving towards Palm Sunday. And then comes what? Before the resurrection. Come on, you Catholics. You grew up seeing that instead of Jesus walking on the water, right? And I'm not knocking that. I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying that the crucifixion has got to come before the resurrection, people. But isn't it funny how we all want to bypass that crucifixion? You want it to go right from Palm Sunday to the resurrection. That's what I wanted. But people kept transitioning. It literally became another one bites the dust. Come on, this has got to stop. Who what? Wash your feet. That's not a bad one either, Gigi. I think you should do a meditation on that one next week. I really. Oh, goodness. But I thought, isn't this strange that I'm going to talk about Lazarus today? And then when I opened my Bible to look at the reference, this is right, it happens right before Palm Sunday. So it's perfect because Palm Sunday is next week. So let's go to that next one, Kathy. Yes, this is the story of his good friend who has died. Jesus is out talking to the people. He is moving with the apostles, right? And they come to him and say, Jesus, your best friend is dying. You need to come. And Jesus says, got it. Come on, guys, we got to go on to the next village. And they couldn't believe that Jesus was not going to turn around and go right to his friend. But he kept going. I think it was 3 days. By the fourth day, he arrives back to Lazarus, who's been laid in the tomb with a big, do you see the rock, the big circle boulder over there on your left? Okay, that's the roll, the stone. They put it in place of the tomb, right? Because if they don't, it's going to start smelling. Okay? So Jesus gets there, and the first thing that Jesus did, do you know what it was? No. What? He cried. That was the first thing he did. Yes. It's important, Kathy. He cried. I wanted to roll the stone away and bypass the crying. Think about for yourself. This is just Kathy sharing her story. You've got your own story where you've gone through this, or maybe you're going through it right now, but we're breathing. So we're going to have these moments. As long as you are breathing, you are going to have suffering. And as Dalai Lama says, it's what you do with that suffering. Suffering is inevitable. But your personal suffering, you can choose how long you want to stay there. So, Jesus cries, then he says, now somebody said it, move the stone, right? Move the stone. Then the next thing he says is, Lazarus, come forth. You saw the little boy, get up. Basically, get up, come forth. And Lazarus comes out. What is the next thing that Jesus says? Unloose the bandages. Okay? My call to Martha was my come forth. My saying, I need to come forth. While I'm being counseled and coached through her, she is helping me unloose the bandages. How many times have you been knotted up in people's opinions? How many times have you been knotted up on Facebook, or people ghosting you, or children and grandchildren? Let's go on and on. Work issues. Anybody here work for the government? Right. This is not a happy, joyous time, but yet he still gets up and smiles and radiates joy. It's not easy. It's not. But the good thing is, I don't want to bypass anything here. So he loosens the bandages. And then, what does he say? Open your eyes. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone, right? But it's not that easy, people. Person carried guilt for years. It's a little story. Over a past mistake they made. Anybody ever done that? Yes. Right? Sometimes we can do it over stupid stuff like, oh my gosh, I missed this whole page of notes. And I will put myself in purgatory the rest of Sunday afternoon and evening. You don't even know that about me. But I'm human. I'm human. Okay? So this person had this guilt for years, and every time that they thought about moving forward, they told themselves, I don't deserve it. It was like a heavy stone blocking of the entrance to something new. Finally, they made a different choice to forgive themselves. Oh, crap. Forgive myself. It's easier to forgive you than it is to forgive myself. Really, it is. Nothing outside changed instantly, but something inside shifted, and the stone rolled away. There was light. What that me coming forth, making a call for help to someone, not my friends who will tell me whatever I want to hear. I want somebody who will be objective and will tell me the truth about me. And call to Martha for me. That's my coach, my mentor, my counselor. So coming forth, and she helped me to move that stone. And it has not moved all the way, people, not yet. But it's enough that I now see light. So let's go to that next one. I think about this, and I know I can go on forever. Can you see how this story relates to each and every one of us? I'm telling you, I am so in love with this and all the way to the resurrection, because it is all about us and how we experience life. So, go to the bottom left, okay? This is a seed. Maybe I should tell you this little story first. A woman planted seeds in her garden, and then she forgot about them. Weeks later, she assumed that nothing happened, just dirt. Still, it was lifeless. She thought, I guess they didn't take root. But beneath the surface, something was happening in the dark. The seed had to break open before it could grow. So you see the seed on the bottom left. Do you see how the seed has cracked open? Okay. All right. So that has cracked open. That's me in the tomb. That's all of us when we have the tomb experience and we start to crack open. And then what happens underground, something starts to slowly break out of the seed. Okay? So now, what happens there? Down, following left to right, all right? This is the come forth. Kathy has broke ground, okay? And I'm coming out. Then you see, unloose the bandages, and life is sprouting. The next one to me represents open your eyes. Anybody seen Inside Out 1 and 2, possibly? I can't. Oh, Sandy, you were the one that turned me on to that movie a long time ago. I am in love with these people. Okay, so you know all of that in the movie. If you haven't seen it, go, but look it up on the TV or get it at the library. It is so metaphysical. Okay, those characters all represent anxiety, envy, embarrassment, joy, sadness, anger, fear, disgust. Even nostalgia shows up in the second one. We all have these inside of us, people. We have it. What Martha was trying to help me remember, and it ties in so much, Ray, with you and Gigi. I can't believe it. This laughter, this joy, this radiance that you talked about in your opening prayer. I can't wait to listen to that again because it just reminded me I'm sad and I'm joyful. I have anxiety and I'm peaceful. You are both. My concern sometimes in unity is that we spiritually bypass the grief, we spiritually bypass the anxiety, we spiritually bypass sadness, and we just go over to here and say, I'm fine, I'm good, oh, what a beautiful day. It's good. And acknowledge this. You are all these parts. People, this is so important to understand. And don't judge either one of them. Because it's you. You wouldn't be who you are. I would not be who I am. And you know, maybe you find this out. And I think, Gigi, you might have even alluded to it. That once you acknowledge that I'm sad, I somehow seem to get here quicker and start to laugh a little bit. Isn't that funny how that works? But as long as I don't acknowledge it, it's going to keep showing up. Because it's got to have a voice. It's got to be acknowledged. And if I don't acknowledge it, it's going to go, fine. I'm going to come back when you least expect it. So, we set limits on ourselves. And I like that this whole resurrection that we all want to get to, right, for whatever it is we're dealing with, I want to get there. I may not make it by so-called Easter. It doesn't matter, however long it takes, right? That was that whole 40 days business, right? Metaphysical number. It isn't exactly 40 days. 40 represents however long it takes to complete it. So don't try to bypass or to rush it. I am sitting with my sadness. I am sitting with it. And Michael will say, all I have to do now is say to him, I need quiet time. And he leaves me alone. Lets me cry it out at my bench. I have a bench by our creek, and I have a little table, picnic table, so I can write. I also have a porch. I also have, if the weather's bad, I have a chair. I've claimed quiet places that work for me. And so I encourage you to do the same thing. And it doesn't have to be anything elaborate, just a chair. And I put up a picture, so I look at something that reminds me that I am all that. You know, that Inside Out, that's not a bad picture to hang on my wall to remind me, right? Because if you saw the movie, Joy keeps wanting she doesn't want anybody to feel bad. She wants everybody to just feel joyful all the time. Come on, you codependents, don't we? We want everybody to feel wonderful all the time. Joy is always happy, even though all this stuff is crumbling into the abyss. She wants everybody to be happy. Oh. I chose this next picture, and at first I almost took it away. But then I thought, I am chasing a butterfly, but look how I'm trying to catch it. Never catch it that way, will we? Because we put limits, and those limits are the tomb, the stone, the darkness, and it's okay. Right now, I'm not ready to catch the butterfly. Does that make sense? Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. It just means I'm kind of in a little bit of a neutral space right now. And I'm so glad that you brought joy and radiance and laughter today, because I got to laugh with you. And then I may go home and I may sit on my bench for hours again. I don't know. That's the beauty of it. Allow yourself to listen, because you'll be guided, just like Gigi said with her wife as she moving through her transition. She allowed her and Barb to be in the presence of the Creator. And there was never a more beautiful experience to watch the two of you go through that. Yeah. We all know what it feels like to be in the tomb, right? Are there just a small group of us that have been in the tomb? And if you really haven't, please hold a workshop so we can come and listen to your wisdom. But it's true. But the good news is we can get through it. And as long as you're breathing, you'll have another tomb experience. And you know what to do. You don't call your friends who are going to side with you. Call your friends who are going to allow you to just empathize. My daughter Christy taught me the best way to empathize with someone when you get the call. Wow, that must be hard. Don't give my 50 cents worth of advice on what I think they ought to do. And they continue. Man, that's rough. That's how you try to nip that codependent gene. That's how I try to nip that codependent gene in me. Because I have it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be in a helping profession. Right? So, get up, right? You will get up and you will set yourself free, but not until you're ready. So let's look at that last picture. So that is a hippo who was injured and taken to a zoo. And then when he healed completely, they brought him to his home, but that zoo and the container represents the tomb, right? And those helpers rolled the stone away, and the hippo broke free. Yes, that's you. That's me. but not until he was ready to be okay to go back home. Oh, that's another talk. Be ready, because we're all working to go back home. It's the truth. So with that, let's look at our affirmation. I can't remember what I wrote. Another one. I am the living presence of resurrection power. Now think about that. You are that, but you don't want to bypass the road to the crucifixion, okay? Because you will. The resurrection power is where? Within you. You've always had it, right? Let's say it together. I am the living presence of the resurrection power. And so it is. Amen. Namaste. That this inner light in me, even though it's a little dim right now, truly sees and honors that inner light, however dim or bright, it's still in you, and I see that as the Christ in you. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you.